Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News at 5. I'm Mark Hanrahan.
And I'm Tom Sherry. Whitney is on assignment tonight. KREM 2 is following up today on a Superspreader event that is continuing to cause a spike in COVID cases up in Ferry County. It was a 3-day gathering in Republic, but it's now infected nearly 100 people.
KREM 2's Whitney Ward has been tracking this story. She is in Republic tonight and has more now.
Yes, that event was billed as a recruiting event here for the Eagles Club in the town of Republic. It took place over the weekend of April 9th, 10th, and 11th. Now, some have told us that the event was also advertised as a protest against COVID restrictions, but I talked to the club president here at the Eagles. He said absolutely not. It was a dinner and poker night to attract new members. Either way, health officials tell me that patient 0 has been traced back to this event. Since then, the infections here have reached far into this community. The bank had to shut down early and even bring in temporary employees from other towns. One of the only grocery stores in town also has had limited capacity. Even county services have taken a hit. Court cases are now being delayed, all because so many workers were either sick or in quarantine.
There's been 95 people that have tested positive since that event, and the vast majority of those people, there was some association either by the attendance or from a secondary infection that resulted in a positive case. So they continue to test very widely. At present, they tested over 500 people, and they continue to test. Even today, there's still demand for people that are going in with symptoms and needing to be tested.
When did you realize that this was a serious problem?
Within the first 5 or 6 days, just because the amount of people who are showing up symptomatic to get tested had spiked, significantly, and we were already seeing people showing up at the hospital within that first week, which we hadn't seen a COVID positive patient that was ill for several weeks to months prior to that.
Now hospitalizations are also on a sharp incline. Some patients are even being sent to Spokane or Wenatchee, where capacity has also been limited. Right now, there is a sign on the door here at the Eagles telling people that it is closed until further notice. In the meantime, health officials told me today they fully expect the numbers to continue getting worse before they get better. They also expect to see more cases in outlying areas start to pop up as well as this virus continues to spread across the region. In Republic tonight, Whitney Ward, KREM 2 News.
Well, we have some good news about the COVID-19 vaccines. People over the age of 65 who are vaccinated now are 9 times less likely to be hospitalized with COVID-19 than unvaccinated adults of the same age.
So that is according to the Washington State Department of Health during their press conference today. Health officials provided more insight on the latest stats of the shot's effectiveness. Here's what they had to say.
Those individuals who are above the age of 65 who are unvaccinated are 9.7 times higher, almost 10 times higher, the rate that we are seeing of hospitalizations for those who are not vaccinated. I think this is really underscores the point of why vaccines work.
Tracking some breaking news out of Pullman tonight. Washington State University has announced that it will require all students and faculty participating in on-campus classes and programs to be fully vaccinated. That will go into effect on August 6th.
So this is going to apply to all campuses across the WSU system. Our own Ian Smay is live in the newsroom with more from the university on how they'll enforce the rule and then what campus life may look like in the fall. Ian.
That's right, guys. WSU made that announcement this morning, and as you said, it will go into effect just a little more than 2 weeks before classes are set to begin on August 23rd. And that requirement is for full vaccination, regardless of which vaccine you plan on getting. So students and faculty will need to be at least 2 weeks past their last shot. WSU spokesperson Phil Weiler told me earlier today that they, along with a lot of other universities, require proof of other vaccines, such as the MMR vaccine, and this will be no different. That means that students and faculty will be required to show proof of their vaccination status in order to take part in classes or any other programs on campus. Weiler said this decision arose from guidance given to the university by medical professionals.
One of the things that we heard loud and clear from WSU epidemiologists is the way that we get this pandemic behind us is through vaccinations. A lot of emphasis was placed on testing early on, but one of our chief epidemiologists says, you can't test your way out of a pandemic, you vaccinate your way out of the pandemic.
Now, even with the requirement, there are exemptions available to students and faculty. Those include medical, religious, and personal exemptions. Weiler says the university will require proof to be submitted to be granted those exemptions. Also, starting on November 1st, the university may subject those granted an exemption to regular COVID-19 testing and other health measures based on guidance from the CDC and Governor Jay Inslee's office. Weiler says the university simply wants people to make a choice so things can go back to normal in the fall.
Yeah, if we can get everybody vaccinated, we're going to be able to have very close to a completely normal kind of academic experience. You know, we intend to have face-to-face classes. The vast majority of our courses are going to be fully face-to-face. We want to be able to have fans in the stands for football, for basketball, for volleyball, all those indoor kinds of sports.
Now, we want to show you where other colleges and universities in our area stand on the subject of COVID-19 vaccines. As you can see here, the University of Idaho says it will not require vaccines, but strongly encourages them. The community colleges of Spokane say they have no plans to require vaccines, but that they do emphasize the importance of getting vaccinated. Whitworth University, Eastern Washington University, and Gonzaga University all told us earlier that leaders haven't made a decision yet. We've also reached out to North Idaho College and have not yet heard back. Weiler also said the university is going to continue working with the local health district on vaccine drives and helping students and faculty get vaccinated. He estimated that here soon, the university will have helped at least 3,000 people get vaccinated, and the university doesn't plan on stopping its vaccine efforts anytime soon. If you want to know what the fall term will look like and for that full list of what other colleges and universities are doing, you can text the word vaccine to 509-448-2000 and we'll send that info to your phone. Back to you guys.
If he's going to hit one of us, I wanted him to hit me.
Well, last week, a driver hit this Lewiston dad and his 10-year-old son, Philip. The boy was riding his bike in the street when the car sped down their neighborhood road. Philip suffered a skull fracture from that hit and run, and his dad got out of the hospital just a few days ago.
So in an exclusive interview, KREM 2's Amanda Rowley shares the father's emotional account of what happened when he tried to protect his son.
This is the street where a driver who was under the influence hit 10-year-old Philip, who was riding his bike in the street. His dad tried to stop the car, but he was too late.
It's not a blur. It's a constant reminder. Every time when I try to close my eyes.
A nightmare this Lewiston dad wishes he could wake up from. Last week, Philip Spataro turned 10 years old. The day before his birthday, his dad, Chris, fixed up his bike and they took it for a ride. The sidewalk is closed, so they rode it on the street.
I heard a vehicle from a distance picking up speed, and I knew then that something bad is going to happen, and my father instinct just kicked in. I started rushing to get to my son. I started yelling at him to start getting off his bike. I knew I wasn't going to be able to get to my son, so I know the only thing that I can do was, put myself out there, hoping the driver can see us.
He says the driver saw him and slammed on the brakes, leaving behind skid marks. But the car did not stop. It knocked Chris into a parked car, back onto the roof of the suspect car, and flipped into the air. Once he got up, Chris saw the car drive off and his son lying on the ground.
My greatest fear as a parent really kicked in when I saw my son laying there, not moving, not responsive.
An ambulance took Philip to St. Joseph's Regional Medical Center with a skull fracture. That same night, he was airlifted with his mother to Sacred Heart Children's Hospital. Today, he is awake and recovering. Chris suffered a minor leg and back injury. He's stayed by his son's side every day.
I'm trying to stay strong for Philip. He's really a strong boy.
Lewiston police arrested the driver about an hour and a half after the incident was reported. Police say 20-year-old Kenton Brown was under the influence and speeding when he hit Philip and his dad. He faces multiple charges, including 2 counts of hit and run and felony aggravated driving under the influence.
Some people are calling me a hero. I'm not. I'm just a father protecting this child.
In Lewiston, Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
Well, President Biden will mark his 100th day in office this week, and tonight at 6 p.m., he will address Congress for the first time, though it will be notably different than past presidential speeches, of course, due to the coronavirus. Only 200 people are invited, so many members of the cabinet, Supreme Court, and Congress will not be there. Among the priorities the 46th president is expected to highlight include police reform, immigration, and gun safety.
And due to President Biden's address to Congress, there will be no 6 p.m. newscast on KREM 2 News tonight. We will be back at 10 o'clock on the CW and 11 right here on KREM 2 with the big takeaways from the address, along with local news that you should know today. Again, that address will run from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. right here on KREM 2. All right, let's talk weather, shall we, Tom? Because it was beautiful, and tomorrow, my goodness, going to be even better.
Yeah, if you got a PTO day or
feel a little sick, maybe,
or or that,
right?
It's the day to take it, my friends, because we're talking about much warmer weather on the way for Thursday and Friday. Then it will cool down a bit over the weekend. Also get windy Friday through the weekend. Right now we're at 67 degrees. You can see the wind is out of the west-southwest at 14 miles per hour. We take a look at the day planner forecast. Beautiful evening with an overnight low of 48, so much warmer than average. 77 degrees the expected high tomorrow, although it'll be partly to mostly cloudy at times, so it's not going to be just brilliant blue sky and sunshine, but it will be very warm. And then we'll look for a high of 68 on Saturday, mostly sunny, breezy into Sunday with a daytime high of 65. If you're keeping track, our normal high for this time of year is 61 degrees. And it's beautiful weather for this evening because tonight is the spring market at Pavilion in Riverfront Park. And at that market tonight is Second Harvest, and they are collecting donations for Inland Northwest families.
So coming up next, our very own Regina On is live with more details on how you can help. We're back after a quick break.